What's going on YouTube? It's Private KJ, Shot Callers Podcast, back here with another NBA recap. Today we're going to be discussing Tuesday's March 16th games, okay? The main focal point is going to be the Pelicans and the Trailblazers game. As you guys will see, Damian Lillard will probably be the thumbnail. I'll probably name it Dame Time because it's always Dame Time. My boy dropped 50, okay? Ladies, gentlemen, and ballers, let's kick right into this recap, okay? We're first going to be discussing the Utah Jazz and the Boston Celtics. This game surprisingly was closer than I thought to the wire. For some reason, I just got the sense that Rudy Gobert's presence wasn't really fully felt towards that end of the game. Now at the end of the day, the reason why the Celtics will always be a threat, even though they're not true contenders in my eyes, is just because of how elite their guards can be on any given night. Jaylen Brown, Marcus Smart, sometimes I should say, but on the defensive end, definitely Marcus Smart, Jason Tatum, Kemba Walker. These players can go out and get you buckets at any given time. Marcus Smart being the defender he was playing really good defense on Donovan Mitchell for a lot of this game. Mitchell did hit basically a dagger ceiling over Marcus Smart though. It was really good defense, but better offense by his part. So shout out to Donovan Mitchell for that. But for the most part, Marcus Smart played really good defense. But it's not that Rudy Gobert had a bad game or anything. It's just that if you kind of watched, you could kind of tell that at times Tatum could get to his spots. He had 29 points on good efficiency. He had a few like off the screen dribble threes, which were really nice. Daniel Tice had 15 points, another solid game, a double-double from him. I really like seeing Tice kind of be that kind of solid player. I don't know. I don't really know if I trust him in the playoffs since he's going to be smaller compared to Giannis. Embiid, and I talk about this a lot since they don't have size from their big man position, but it's okay. They'll manage to get through just because they have enough elite outside scorers. Jaylen Brown had a really good game too. Kemba Walker did not shoot good from three today, but he had like an game. I don't really know how to describe it. I do want to talk about Marcus Smart a little bit more. So it's okay. It was a little frustrating to see, and I know Celtics fans always see this like all the time. Smart was 2 for 10. Okay. There was, at the end of the game, and especially in that fourth quarter, he just was not hitting shots. And I tweeted out a little earlier today, the Jazz did a really good job baiting Marcus Smart into that last shot. Because if you saw, it was about 50 seconds left, he hesitated and clanked it off the front of the rim. It was really short. And I was just like, wow, like that's really good defense on Utah's part. But at the same time, it's just like, Smart needs to be ready to shoot that three. I don't care if he was 2 for 9 previously. Be ready to take that shot because that shot basically, I don't know if he sealed the deal. But it was once Mitchell hit that go-ahead three on Smart's head. But it was really kind of key to see because once it came down the wire, they were like, okay, we're going to dare Marcus Smart to beat us. And that was their game plan. Utah side, though, really good game plan from Quinn Snyder once again. No one really exploded, just quality performances from across the board. Bogdanovich chipped in. Mitchell obviously did his thing. Mike Conley did his thing. Good rebounding from Derek Favors during his kind of stretches in the game. Only played 15 minutes, but that's all you need from him. Joe Ingles and Jordan Clarkson, like I said, did pitch really well. Just a quality win for them. Next up, though, we're going to go to the Cavs and the Heat. Not much for me to talk about here. I only watched the first, half and then parts of the third quarter. It was a blowout at that point. Not much for me to talk about. Jared Allen's paint presence wasn't exactly felt this game, in my opinion. JaVale McGee, I'm pretty sure had a double-double, though. So shout out to JaVale. Let me check the box score just to make sure. 16. No, he did not. That's unfortunate, but he was close. But I'm going to talk about the Heat for a little bit. So Kendrick Nunn did not shoot well in the first, kind of half. And in that third quarter, although he finished with only just 10 points, he still was able to manage to have a better shooting performance. He let the kind of game flow to him and let Jimmy Butler take over at that primary point guard with Dragic mixing in, even though Dragic did not shoot the ball well either, only on 4 shots, albeit. It was nice to see that as well because Kendrick Nunn has a tendency to where if he's not shooting well, he'll shoot himself out of the game, and that's all he'll really bring to the table outside of maybe some decent playmaking here and there. Not a consistent playmaker, though, and poor defense. So that was really nice to see. Kendrick Nunn got himself going through his teammates. Jimmy Butler, though, was the story of the day. Once again, Butler's proving why he could be, honestly, in the MVP discussion. 28 points, 12 rebounds, 4 assists, and 2 steals on just great defense as well. Kelly Olynyk shot better this game. Bam did his thing. Great defensive presence in the paint, mixed in with some Jimmy Butler perimeter defense. 1-2, just a really good defensive 1-2 punch. And yeah, Tyler Hero did not shoot well this game. I just want to point that out, but it is what it is. The Cavs just aren't a good team. And it really was just that. It was literally Colin Sexton was the only person that did anything, and it really wasn't even on good efficiency. Everyone else shot poorly, if not, yeah, no one shot good, like outside of JaVale McGee, really. So that's not going to win you games. Let's move on already. Knicks and the 76ers are going to keep this one quick as well because I actually only watched the end of this game, and boy, I'm glad I tuned in. I got a guy I follow on Twitter. His name's Snacks. He is a huge Philly fan, and I was really nice to see. He very excited about Tobias Harris. Tobias chipped in 30 points, Seth Curry 20 points. Good to see that. I'm pretty sure they have won 5 games now without Embiid, and that's really good to see that the 76ers are still showing that they are a top team without Embiid. That is very important because when they get Embiid back rested in the playoffs, look out because that team's going to be really scary, okay? Don't sleep on the 76ers. The only team I think is better than them are the Nets just because of how elite once KD comes back they are. But at the end of the day, they have Ben Simmons playing a great defense. Good to see that they've been able to incorporate Tony Bradley, even though he's really not anything special. He really just isn't that good. Playing 15 minutes and getting quality just like minutes from Tony Bradley, even though he didn't really do much on the offense side of the ball, is kind of nice to see. Dwight Howard has been really good for the time that he's been able to start. Just consistent like double-doubles, rebounding really well, like solid paint defense, finishing at the basket, which you typically get from Dwight. But I'm glad to see that they figure out a way to keep him on the floor instead of having to kind of sub him out when he's getting I want to say when they're playing these switchable teams that force him to step up on the perimeter. It's nice to see that they've been able to kind of hide Dwight and keep him down low. So that's really nice to see. And that's probably due to the fact that they have Matisse Thybulle, and Ben Simmons and Danny Green, players like that. So yeah, really good game from them. And for the Knicks side, another really devastating loss, honestly. It was really weird to see the Julius Randle and Tobias Harris. It literally was, I kid you not, post up after post up. Julius Randle post up and then Tobias Harris post up. It's just Randle. It was so funny. Funky Diabetic tweeted that on Twitter as well. It was so funny to see that. But it's starting to kind of see that I'm not sure if you can truly rely on Julius Randle to be a closer. That's what I'm sort of getting from these past 2 games. Not that he's not been really good this season. I'm just not sure if you want Julius Randle every single time closing the game. I think that's where RJ Barrett needs to step up and come into play because at the end of the day, you need that guard to be that closer. I think that's typically how it should go and normally how it does go. Maybe Emmanuel Quigley can be that guy some nights. Maybe Alec Burks can be that guy some nights. So that's kind of what I would like to see from Tom Thibodeau, incorporate a little bit more instead of force-feeding Randle to kind of bail you out because it's twice now that they haven't gotten great shots. Now, I do understand that Kyrie fouled him that previous game, but I just want to point that out. They have Barrett, Quickly, and Burks, especially Quickly. I would like to see if Quickly can be incorporated that in the future. Not now because obviously he's a rookie, but that was my biggest takeaway. Don't rely on Julius Randle to be your closer every night because I'm not even sure for as good as he's been this season if you can consistently rely on him to be a closer. Next up, though, we have the Bulls and the Thunder, and this was one of those games where I'm just sitting there. I'm like, okay, I'm waiting for the Bulls to make some bad habits and let the Thunder climb back in this game. And I'm so glad they did not because at the end of the day, it proves how freaking good Zach LaVine is. If you do not watch this game, you missed Zach LaVine in these first 3 quarters. That third quarter, he exploded with I think 20 points or something like that. 15 to 20 points, something like that. It was amazing to see. It kept going back and forth, and it was basically a 10-point game, and then just 5-minute stretch of just Zach LaVine dominating. It was crazy. Albeit it wasn't a great defensive effort. I don't want to say effort, but showing from the Thunder. This is a young team who doesn't really have much to show outside of Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, so I don't really blame them. It is what it is. I'm not expecting them to be good, but I was expecting them to at least kind of keep chipping at it, maybe something will happen. Just because I'm so used to Shai leading his team like that, it just didn't happen. Zach LaVine just went crazy. He was ridiculous how good he was playing. Shai did have 21 points, though. 8 turnovers. I want to acknowledge that. This was a really ugly performance from the Thunder, though. They had a lot of turnovers in that third quarter, which fueled the Bulls to kind of go on another run. This Roby, Poku, and Moses Brown lineup, I really don't like. Now, I do really like Moses Brown going forward, okay? Do not sleep on him. He had a best game of his career, okay? Shout out to Moses Brown, 20 points, 16 rebounds, and 5 blocks. He played really good. And I remember there were times where a lot of players or a lot of scouts thought he had really good potential as a prospect, but it's just that he was kind of a project player. So that's someone I kind of hope the Thunder work with, because I think he can actually be really good for this team moving forward. And at the bare minimum, maybe he just be a starting quality center. That's all you need from a center nowadays. But like I said, the Poku, Roby, Moses Brown lineup is not very good. But at the end of the day, I understand why they're doing it, because they're tanking. So it is what it is. I think Roby should come off the bench, so I don't like him playing on the perimeter. I don't mind Poku, because I'm kind of curious to see how Poku could be out on the perimeter consistently. So I kind of want to get some more games. But this game, it was pretty bad. 2 for 9 shooting, but it was really bad to see, though. Their starting 5 was really bad. Like, this lineup was just terrible today. Negative, plus minus. Okay, I'm going to read down everyone's. Isaiah Roby, negative 26. Poku, negative 30. Moses Brown, negative 18. Theo Malden, negative 28. Shea, negative 36. That's really bad, and that's not going to win you game at the end of the day. For the Bulls, though, like I said, basically Zach LaVine cooking up, marking and chipping in, Thaddeus Young doing his thing on the defensive end, being versatile, and in the playmaking department as well. Thomas Satoransky chipping in. Love me some Satoransky. So sad to see him that he left Washington. He's just such a good role player for any team looking to make a playoff push or be a championship contender. Everyone needs a player like Thomas Satoransky. So yeah, those were the main kind of things. Not much for me to talk about here. It was a blowout at the end of the day. Actually, I did get to all these games, so I'll be able to kind of talk about these. I'm going to keep this one quick because I still need to get to my Blazers game. Atlanta Hawks and Rockets. Did not watch much of it. Just watched the end of the game, once it was kind of a blowout. Oladipo and KPJ did their thing. Jashawn Tate had a really good game and played really good defense on the stretch, where I like to see. He's really kind of chippy guy. And a guy who believes all out on the floor, even though he's lacking in some guard skills. So that's really nice to see. Tony Snell continues to be a slept-on role player. And I mentioned this in my Hawks video earlier yesterday. He's really good. And I can see Tony Snell kind of revive his career. He's revived, honestly, like with Milwaukee, honestly. John Collins, really good game. Gallinari, 29 points and 6 rebounds. He's starting to really step it up. I like seeing that, because I'm glad to see he's been better. That's all I need to say about that. Trae Young did not shoot too well today, but got the job done. I like seeing that he's letting his teammates, like I said earlier, letting his teammates do their thing instead of trying to do it all himself, okay? Surprise of the day, Nathan Knight, 15 points on really good efficiency. Shout out to him. Typically not used to seeing someone like Nathan Knight do that, but you'll take it if you're the Atlanta Hawks. Lastly, though, we're going to be discussing the Pelicans and Blazers. This game was insane. Now, like I said, as of me recording this video, the Lakers and Minnesota game is still going on. I did not really tune into that game very much. Shout out to LeBron, though. I'm pretty sure he had a triple-double, though, so good for him. And really good kind of chip-ins from Montrezl Harrell, KCP. Horton Tucker continues to be really good these past few games. Kuzma, shout out to them. Cat did not shoot the ball that well, but Anthony Edwards had a really good game this game, it seemed like. I actually liked Anthony Edwards' defense at times. It was really only in the second quarter that I saw it. It wasn't there much. Rubio, he had a fine game. No, he had a fine game. But there's not much for me to talk about. I'm not going to really get into that when I really didn't watch all that much. I'm not going to try and bullshit you guys or anything. Last game, though, I really want to talk about. I'm going to try and keep this at 15 minutes, okay? So, the Blazers, Dame Time, clutch free throws, finished with 50 points, 10 assists, and 6 boards. That boy went off. Gary Trent Jr., 22 points. McCollum did not shoot well this game and still had 10 points, and they still got the dub. That's what's really interesting to me. I'm going to talk about the Pelicans real quick before I go back to the Blazers. Brandon Ingram and Zion combined for 58, and they still were unable to pull up the dub. Chipped in with a lot of paid players doing their thing. Bledsoe, Ball had 11. Paul didn't hit any threes today, though, which was a little unfortunate. But Josh Hart and Nickeil Alexander-Walker, 16 from Hart, 20 from Alexander Walker, and 9 rebounds. Like I said, probably the best rebounder, wing rebounder is Josh Hart. I'm not going to lie. Blazers, though. So I haven't talked about him much on this channel. Damian Lillard, oh my goodness. Now, I think there's definitely going to be some controversy on that late game foul. I understand that. It's funny to me because I talked about it with my friends earlier before that late game foul happened. They fouled the previous possession on the Blazers too, to purposely not let Lillard have a chance to hit a three. It seemed like they didn't intentionally. Maybe I'm wrong and they didn't mean to. But that's just so ironic. That just shows a testament of how good Damian Lillard is. I don't really like that idea. You live and die with what he can do, and that clearly showed. But Lillard, my goodness, it is Dame time. Derrick Jones Jr., I like how they're incorporating Derrick Jones Jr. and Robert Covington at the 5 and crunch time. That's really nice to see. Nazir Little. Now, he's not doing much on the offensive end. Just 2 points and not really do that much. Only shot 1 time. Little has been very versatile for them on defense. Another bind to throw. And I'm very curious to see on his potential moving forward with this Blazers team for the next future. Because with Zach Collins being out, with Nurkic being out, that's really interesting to see. I'm glad to see that Nazir Little was kind of carving his way in this team because I think he has a very good defensive potential. Something that Derrick Jones brings, I think Nazir Little can be that for them in the next few years. Okay, give him some time to grow, Portland, because I think you're gonna really like what he can give you on a really cheap contract as well. Enes Kanter continue to just be a really good, offensive presence and offensive rebounding presence for this Portland team. Although he did not have any this game, just in general. I really like to see though how Rocco and Derrick Jones switch with each other, and I like to see how they're not afraid to let Enes Kanter kind of die, knowing that their swings from the corner from Derrick Jones and Robert Covington will be there. That's what I like seeing from the team. They might not be the best defensive team, and the numbers clearly show that, but I like how they're able to play together and how Robert Covington's IQ and Derrick Jones' versatility has really boosted this defensive team. Really boosted this team defensively. That's what I meant to say. But yeah, that'll recap most of the games. I'm going to make a separate video, I think, maybe today or tomorrow. Maybe, I'll see, on the Portland Trail Blazers. Maybe talk about them, go more in depth. But that will do for the recaps. This was a really long video, so I apologize. But if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. Turn on post notifications so you never miss a beat, okay? With that said, Private KJ out.